Last month, students at the University of Cape Town took a stand against the removal of Cecil John Rhodes' statue, causing an uprising across the country for many other statues that resembled colonialism to also be taken down. There was an outcry on social media from all walks of life expressing their views and choosing a side to support, but one student took a different approach and instead wrote letters to races of South Africa. Joining us now from our Cape Town studio is Busi Mjiyakho, and she joins us from our Cape Town studio. Busi, I hope I didn't butcher your name too much, your surname. But let's start off this conversation by why the different approach? When the majority were in chorus about one thing, you chose to have a completely different view on the subject.
Hi, Sam. My surname is Mjiyakho, but I'm used to people getting it wrong all the time.
I got it wrong too.
But it's absolutely fine. No, I didn't think that I took a different approach, well, I didn't see it as it being a different approach. I just thought that I took an approach that had to be taken, the right approach. I mean, you can't tell a story by telling it from one side or another because it's not complete. You can't address a group of people and not address the rest, because what you get then is a division. And so you need to first establish that, okay, you may see yourselves as being on two different sides. These are your issues, and then these are your issues. And now, get over your issues, come together. We have issues that face both sides, both groups. And so I think that was necessary to first establish, because, I mean, I know people complain about why are you separating, why is there division, but initially you have to establish the fact that people do see themselves as being divided. You have to establish the fact that, okay, there's division, but now we need to be able to find that unity throughout the division.
In an age of social media where most people find their rhythm or what they want to say in 140 characters, you chose to put down online letters. Why the online letters? Why not just snippets?
Because this initially wasn't supposed to be like, like letters in an official sense. It was basically a status that I wrote on Facebook, but it was part 2 of a status. Part 1 has also now been shared, but so the part 1 was basically establishing the fact that despite our past, we actually need to be able to move forward. And then going into it deeper was part 2. And that's when the division came about. And then I was like, okay, dear white people, so and so and so. Dear black people, so and so and so. And then dear government, because we have elected you and you're supposed to serve us. You're not supposed to be working against us. And so that's where that came about. And so people took it as like 3 different letters or whatever, but it was just one status. And so yeah, I mean, I think the approach that I took was the fact that I had a lot to say. And I mean, the fact that I did say some of those things on Twitter and then immediately they were received very badly. And then I had to post the entire thing and say, context is very important.
Let's talk about...
And so you can't just say things like that.
Busi, let's talk about context very quickly, because you do talk in your letters about white privilege and a sense of black entitlement. Talk to me more about that, because when we started this conversation, we talked about that people are different and they come from different spheres of life with different influences that maybe define how they think. Talk to me about why that was so important to highlight.
Because usually, I think one of the biggest problems we do have in this country is the lack of empathy. People can understand their own problems and they can relate to people who have similar problems, but they can't look beyond their own spectrum and they can't go to the other side and say, okay, this person might be facing these types of problems and this is why. And so I think that you need to be able to establish what type of problems people have. I mean, we are all South African, but 1994 did not change a lot of things. Okay, the rules were changed, the regulations were changed, but society did not necessarily change. And because of that, there's still great division. And just kind of covering all of that by saying we're a rainbow nation is not actually productive for our country, because we hide behind this fallacy of the fact that we're all a rainbow nation, but there are so many underlying issues in communities, in white communities, in their own circles. They speak a certain way, and there's great distrust in black communities. They speak a certain way, and because of that, because these issues aren't being voiced, people don't understand that they have white privilege. Black people don't understand that they have a sense of entitlement. They think, okay, because of apartheid, I now deserve this and this and that. White people are like, no, well, I wasn't born during apartheid, or I wasn't alive then, I wasn't the government, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I feel guilty for what I have? And it's not about guilt. No one wants anyone to feel guilty. We need people to understand that in 1994, there wasn't a reset button. There wasn't an equal leveling, to a sense. Everyone started off at different places, and you need to understand that, okay, I started off here and here because of the past injustices. I started off here because of what my family was able to get, despite everything.
Yep.
So I think that needed to be established, the white privilege and the black disadvantage, and then the black sense of entitlement and the white sense of, we don't want to be guilty, we need to just move on, and you can't move on until you talk about it.
But see, we're going to leave it on that very powerful note, and I think many people in different sectors of our society will agree with you that we can't move on until we sit down and talk about it. Busi Mjiyakho, who wrote one letter separated in three parts to, as you put it, the white part of South Africa, the black part of South Africa, and to government as well. Now, let's